I'm Yulia Pushko, Government Affairs Director for Willard Public Relations in Kyiv, and this is Ukrainian Political Report for Monday, April 6. We often tell potential foreign investors that instability is the norm in Ukraine, but this week has been particularly chaotic. To understand why the President, Prime Minister and Parliament have become so agitated, we need to untangle the intrigues and analyze the underlying motives. President Viktor Yushchenko's proposal last week for constitutional changes, including a bicameral parliament, raised the chorus of derision by members of parliament who claimed that the president was trying to create a British-style government. His proposal for creation of a Senate was dismissed as, quote, a resort for oligarchs by opponents who implied that Mr. Yushchenko would like to be appointed senator for life. The bicameral idea isn't new. President Leonid Kuchma floated during his nationwide referendum in 2000, and it won 80% approval at the polls. At that time, Mr. Yushchenko opposed bicameralism, calling the nationwide referendum, quote, a dirty farce. Now, when amending the constitution to adopt a bicameral parliament could prolong Mr. Yushchenko's political life, he has eagerly embraced the idea. The political model being dusted off by the president consists of an upper house, the Senate, elected directly by the people, and a lower house, called the Deputies' Chamber. Deputies would be elected according to the open list proportional system. Under the new plan, the Cabinet of Ministers would be fully subordinate to the Parliament instead of to the President, and Parliament would oversee issues like foreign affairs and law enforcement, which are currently in the President's purview. The idea found few fans among the deputies and appears to be nothing more than a ploy by an unpopular president to retain power by stalling elections. In fact, Parliament overwhelmingly voted to hold the next presidential election on October 25th, 3 months before the end of Mr. Yushchenko's 5-year term. The president said he'd ask the Constitutional Court for a ruling on the date, but analysts say that the Parliament's action was calculated to prevent the President from dissolving the Parliament this year because he is barred from doing so during his last 6 months in the office. Prime Minister Yulia Tymoshenko needed quick approval of her anti-crisis legislation in order to win resumption of $12.4 billion from International Monetary Fund loan, but failed to get it. Instead, deputies blocked 3 of Ms. Tymoshenko's 5 anti-crisis bills, permitting only increases in excise taxes on tobacco, alcohol and diesel fuel. Measures that would have balanced the finances of the pension fund and of state energy firm Naftogaz Ukraine were defeated. After rejecting the legislation, Viktor Yanukovych and his Regions Party accused Ms. Tymoshenko's government of being unable to act and vowed to blockade Parliament until the end of the week, which they proceeded to do, barricading the chamber doors and seizing the podium. Ms. Tymoshenko was not amused by the antics. She told the cabinet, quote, I would not like to see the Regions Party act in the same way as Somali pirates. The Regions Party had its supporters out in force around the capital this week, drawing attention to what seems to be the government's growing impotence. With the president's popularity stuck in low gear, the Prime Minister unable to pass the crucial legislation, and Parliament Speaker Volodymyr Litvin joining the communists in calling for Mr. Yushchenko's impeachment, Viktor Yanukovych may be positioning his party of regions to look like the good guys. Public disaffection with all things political and disillusionment over the crumbled Orange Revolution could provide fertile ground for regions. The party has been promoting early parliamentary elections, and some analysts say that the notion is also supported by the president. I'm Yulia Pushko, Government Affairs Director for Willard Public Relations in Kyiv, and this has been the Ukrainian Political Report.